Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. I feel like crap. Somebody shared their boogers with me. Patty,
I hope you feel better, Patty.
thank you. I actually am feeling better today. I sound horrible, but I feel better. Let me turn the light on. I'm in the dark. In the dark. There we go. All right. I don't feel very good. I'm sorry, you guys. Want to tell you I will be at AGLA in Pasadena on the 23rd. I am speaking on the main stage at the AGLA trade show at the Pasadena Convention Center on May 23rd. In about 2 weeks, I will be on the main stage. I think I'm speaking at 3 o'clock. I think I'm talking about changes in the industry and what we need to watch out for. So I'll be talking about late fees. I'll be talking about pet rent. I'll be talking about the things that we just can't do anymore. Okay. So I will be there. And if you guys are there, I will see you too. I don't have a booth. I'm going to hang out in AGLA's booth. So if you guys are looking for me, I will be at AGLA's booth at the trade show on the 23rd. I feel exhausted. I also I volunteer at the fair this time of year. So I have that going on, trying to get that going on my weekends. Like I need one more thing to do. I do not, but here I am doing more things. I know you guys all have questions. I know we're going to have some coming through as soon as the assembly bills go through. So we'll see what happens with 14. I've been watching it like a hawk. So I'm really scared about that one just because it limits us and controls us in a way I don't like. I don't like that we are not going to be able to ask for more than 1 month's rent as a security deposit. I don't think that's fair to us as landlords. I mean, if we can only collect 1 month's rent as a deposit, why would we rent to someone that's a risk to us? And if we can't garnish their wages afterwards, why would we rent to someone that's a risk? We're not gonna. It's gonna suck. Okay, what do you guys got? I know somebody out there's got a question for me. Now's a good time to throw it because Patty's got a head full of snot and she can't think clearly. Here we go. We are going to have to charge more rent to make up for these laws. Yeah. Okay, so here's me talking. Starting September 1st, we can't garnish wages anymore unless they make $41 an hour or more. So we have no recourse. So in my opinion, we should remove our grace period. This is just my opinion. If I owned a management company, I would remove the grace period, do a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy, removing the grace period, letting them know that their late fee applies on the 2nd. Rent's due on the 1st, late fee applies on the 2nd, and I'd be serving notices on the 2nd and starting eviction by the 5th. If my tenant told me that they could not pay the rent until 2 weeks because they got in a car accident or life happened to them, I would tell them, then you can buy yourself out of legal. I have to do my job. I'm going to put you in legal. When you get paid, you can pay the legal expenses and the rent you owe and next month's rent in advance, and you can get out of legal. Other than that, I can't help you. That's what they're going to make us do. I mean, think of it this way. How many of us wait for a tenant? We work with them maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then it turns into 3 months. And then it's, oh, Patty, this isn't working. They're taking advantage of me. I need to start the eviction. We need to start determining that in 3 days, not 3 months, okay? Because there's no recourse for us. So we need to be, and I hate to say this, we need to be quick to evict. I hope that makes sense. There is no recourse for us. We can evict them, that gives us our house back, but we still lose the money. We're still out those expenses. So moving forward, I have a feeling we're going to be very quick to do evictions, and we're not going to be willing to work with people because the powers that be have changed the laws in a way that forces us not to be friendly. Go figure. I need more hydration. And yes, I'm drinking liquid IV. Let me see what that said. I didn't get it all. If the tenant pays their rent on time for the whole year, is it a good idea to offer a significant discount on the 12th month's rent? I want to raise the rent so I don't get caught with my pants down and all these rent cap regulations. I don't want to screw over a good tenant. You can offer concessions for good behavior. I hope that made sense to you. And I don't know if this is fever or hot flash, but just to warn you guys, I'm gonna start taking off my clothes in a minute. It's my turn. I don't know if it's fever or a hot flash, but it's coming. Help. I'm melting from the inside out.
Hey, Miss Patty, hope you feel better.
Thank you. I hope you guys are laughing at me.
We're laughing with you.
Okay, we've all been here.
Quick question about
Yeah.
this notice. When you serve a 3-day notice to pay the rent or quit, you're supposed to serve a copy at the county, blah, blah, blah.
Clothes are coming up. Oof.
Yeah, my jacket's coming off. So where the hell are you supposed to deliver it? I mean, I call the county, they don't answer the phone. I leave
Okay.
messages.
DCBA. They have a website you can upload it to. DCBA.
CBA? Okay.
DCBA, also LAHD. If you got to serve a notice to them, you can email it to them.
Okay.
Okay, so let me
DCBA.
tell you guys something. I listened to all the other attorneys out there because I learned that practicing law is an opinion. Oh, and I want to see what all the other attorneys say because collectively it's an opinion that we're gathering, if you will, their opinion on how they interpret the law. So I watched a webinar that Dennis Block taught, and he said, let's inundate their mailbox with these notices. Let's mail them to them via snail mail so that they have to enter them into their system. They have to upload them into their system, and that will inundate them. And that's what they get, right? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Here's the problem. If they don't open the mail fast enough and they didn't receive it within 3 days, it hurts you. It doesn't help you. So by trying to mail all of them to them and inundate them, I jumped on that bandwagon. It ended up hurting us. I'm not doing that anymore. Upload it right to their website. You know they got it. It's good. So if you need the website email, please contact me. I'd be more than happy to give it to you, or call Fast Evict. They can give it to you too. There's no issue there. But you want to make sure you have that notice to the governing party within 3 days. And why did I just say the governing party? Because check this out. If you have a single family home in LA County, you are not exempt. You may have dodged the bullet of LARSO. You may have dodged the bullet of the unincorporated cities, okay, of the DCBA, but you did not dodge the bullet of LAHD. So even, and I'll give you an example, single family home in the city of Torrance, incorporated, exempt from the TPA, exempt from LARSO, exempt from the DCBA, governed by LAHD. If you exempt from everything else, something governs you. You are not free in LA County. Under LAHD, a landlord may terminate tenancy with cause and pay 1 month's rent as a relocation fee. They must give a 60-day notice, regardless of how long they've lived there. Okay. So if you have a single family residence in LA County and you're exempt from everything, you're not exempt from everything. Even single family homes in the county of LA are now governed by LAHD. And if you want to terminate tenancy, you have to send them a copy of the notice, waive the last month's rent as a relocation fee. And yeah. If you're in LA County, you're governed by someone, something, somewhere, some city, somehow. I hope that made sense. If the tenant pays their rent on time for the whole year, yeah. So what I was saying is you can offer concessions. I've done rent increases and then did concessions back, and I did exactly what you're talking about, only I did it a little bit different. What I told them is if they pay their rent on time every month for 11 consecutive months, the 12th month is free. So I did do my rent increases, but then I gave them concessions to come back to them. The reason I give December's rent free is, let me explain. I'm a single mom with 3 kids. A lot of people don't know that. We rob from Peter to pay Paul to make everything work, okay? It's what we do. So if you really want to help out your tenant and be there for your tenant, the 1 month that you could do something to help them so they can have their Christmas holiday is Christmas. And let's talk about this real quick, because I'm going to assume this has happened to all of you before, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. 9 times out of 10, if you have a property and your tenants in possession have children, smaller children, I don't care, high school and under, if they have kids, okay? Minor children. The chances of them paying the full month of the rent in December is slim and none. For the most part, they're going to use their rent money to have a holiday. And then what they're going to do is use their income tax refund in February to pay back their rent that's owed. Has that ever happened to you guys before?
I've seen it all the time, Patty, all the time.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That's what we do, okay? Action, reaction, okay? It's how we make it work. If you really want to do your tenant a solid, just give them that concession in the month of December. And then you don't have to worry about that, because it happens all the time. You guys know by clock, I'll pay you when I get my income tax refund. That's how you figure it out. If you don't want to give them a free month's rent, you can give them all their discounts in the month of December. So I'm going to give you a $150 discount. Let's say you can raise the rent $200 and you really didn't want to raise the rent, but you do it anyway. And now in December, you're going to give them a concession or a rent credit back on a portion of their income. Okay, so and we're going to see a lot more concessions come out as this market continues on the path that it's on right now, where we don't have all of our vacants filled. Okay, we no longer have a supply and demand issue, and we are now, right now, starting to see rents coming down a little bit. And we're also seeing concessions coming up. Concession is an incentive to rent from you. Maybe you're not charging screening fees, or maybe you're offering $500 off the security deposit, or $500 off the first month's rent would be more ideal. Remember, you guys, if you're gonna play around with something and offer a concession, I'm gonna do you a solid, okay? Offer the concession on the deposit. Why? Because it's not your money anyway. And in a perfect world, you're gonna give that money back to the tenant. So did you really do anything to hurt you by giving them a deal on the deposit? No, you didn't. So taking a $500 security deposit from somebody makes sense to you, Patty? Yes, absolutely. If they have a FICO score of 750 or higher, they're not going to want to do anything to mess up their credit score. Ah, oh, that clicked right. Ding. In a perfect world, the deposit is not your money. In a perfect world, you'll never touch the deposit. It doesn't affect your base rent. Oh, I hope this is clicking with you guys. Okay. I don't know how many times I've rented to somebody with a $100 deposit or a $500 deposit. And you know what I had to do when they moved out? I had to give them back their $100 or $500 because they did everything perfectly. It doesn't affect their credit score. If somebody has a really, really good credit, like a 750 FICO, and you want to offer a concession to them, in other words, a lower rent amount to get them to rent from you instead of to rent from Val, okay? We might offer them a deal at our place, like we won't charge you screening fees or $100 off your first month's rent. Stop taking the concession off the rent. It messes with your base rent amount. Take the concession off the deposit. $500 security deposit moves you in on approved credit, OAC. Got it? If they don't have the 750 FICO score, we can still rent to you, but we'd require a higher deposit than the $500. Does everybody got that? You guys all see how that worked? And because I'm giving the money away on the deposit, I'm not affecting my base rent amount. What do you mean it messes with your base rent amount? Okay, hold on. I'll talk to you about your base rent in a minute. I love you, Val. You're funny. Tell them you'll do them a big favor and not charge them pet rent or for those additional occupants, right? You guys can't do that anymore. So what I am trying to say is with your base rent is, let me say this. If you're renting to someone and you're offering them $1,200 a month and $200 off your first month's rent, that's your concession. If you're going to say, oh, come rent from me and I'll give you $100 off a month for your first year. Now your base rent is lower when you're doing an increase. It can become tricky. So what I'm talking about is when you're decreasing the rent to try to get somebody in possession, now you're doing a rent increase from that amount, not from the amount you started at. Okay, so with that being said, it's a better business practice to take money off the deposit to encourage someone to rent in than it is to lower your rent. Remember this, your rent is your money. Your deposit is their money. If you're going to give something away, give away their money, not yours. Is that clicking? Does that make sense? If I want to encourage somebody to rent from me, I might let them move them in with a $1 security deposit. I've done that too. $1 security. Yeah, with an 800 FICO score. Sure, I'll take you. Chances are I'm going to give you that dollar back when you move out too. You guys paying attention? If you have a high dollar tenant with high credit score, give away the deposit. It's their money anyway. Okay, is that clicking? Because then you didn't lower your market rent, your market rent. then you're not taking money out of your pocket. Got it? I want to do this for a tenant that's been there for 15 years. I will not be taking a deposit, so this doesn't make sense for me. Okay, so if you don't have a deposit from them and you want to offer them a concession, you can offer them a concession that if they pay their rent on time, they will get $100 back every month that they paid their rent by the 2nd in the month of December, if you want to put it in a month. Make sense? I just always try to give them the concession in December because that's when we all feel it the most. And we all appreciate it the most when we have a little bit more wiggle room around the holidays. I had a landlord once. He was a sweet guy. He told me if I paid the rent on time all year, he'd give me $25 back at Christmas time. He was a sweet old man. He always gave me $25 back at Christmas time and a box of C's candy. Hey, that box of C's candy worked great. I usually rewrapped that up and re-gifted that. I'm letting people in, so bear with me, you guys. I was going to raise the rent $100 a month and give him $600 off in December. I hope this doesn't mess with my calculations when I do a rent increase. If you're offering him a concession, it does not affect your base rent. If you give him a rent credit for whatever you feel necessary, it doesn't affect your base rent. You can give them a rent credit of $500 at Christmas time if you wanted to, or $600, or whatever it is that you choose to do, but I would issue it as a rent credit as a courtesy. A rent credit as a courtesy looks like gold if you're in court. You look like a peach. And Val, you could give away December's rent. I mean, come on, if we charged $4,000 a month for your unit, you would give away December's rent. Now, I just got to put it in terms Val understands. If you take a rent that's $1,200 and you turn it into $4,200, you'll waive December's rent real quick. All right, does anybody have anything else? I'm sorry, you guys, I don't feel good. I'm kind of wired, but not completely. I feel just pressure. Now you're making me feel cheap by sending them a $25 Albertsons gift card. No, Val, don't feel cheap. The difference in all reality is LA County and Kern County. That's it. I'm telling you, if you had those little properties in Kern County that you have and you had those in LA, you'd be pulling in $4,200 a month off that little house. You know what I gave my tenants last year for Christmas? You know what I gave them? I didn't give anything out at all since COVID. Oh my God. I need to fix that. I haven't given anything to my tenants since COVID started. Oh, oops. I might need to fix that. I'll wait till 4th of July. I'll do it on 4th of July. We'll celebrate our independence. How do I prove unauthorized occupants in a duplex that looks like a single family residence? Hold on and I'll help you. I used to send lottery tickets, but some were stolen this Christmas. I may send a check. How do I prove unauthorized occupants? First of all, let me ask you a question. What does your written rental contract say for how long a guest can stay? Oh, because that's very important. If you don't understand the written rules of your own rental contract, you have a bigger problem. So my question to you becomes, how many days can a guest stay in the property and it not be considered an unauthorized occupant? Do you have 14 consecutive days? Do you have 7 consecutive days? Oh, you have 10. Okay. Serving her a 30-day notice to change it to 3 days, thanks to Patty. Consecutive days. Is this it's a duplex that looks like a single family residence? Ugh. Set up surveillance cameras. Please take note, I did not say security. That word security did not come out of my mouth. I said surveillance cameras. You're not going to put them up in their house, are you? You're going to put them on the exterior of the property? Connected to the Wi-Fi? She installed a Ring camera. So now I have a question for you. Does your rental contract say that your tenants can't modify the property without written consent of the landlord? Because if they did, it's a material breach of their contract. So there's 5 things that I look for when I'm inspecting and I'm trying to find cause. And let me tell you, it's pretty easy. There's 5 things I look for. Number 1, and most common, they install a Ring doorbell. Number 2, also most common, they change the locks. What do we do when we buy a house? What's the first thing you do when you buy a new house? You run over there and you change the locks because you don't know who has a key. Tenants do the same thing, folks. And if they're changing the locks without your permission, it would be a material breach of the lease. Okay? Wait a minute, hold on. That's 2. What else do they do, Patty? They paint. That's number 3. You know, they paint that accent wall, or they paint that one room black. What else do they do, Patty? Well, they mount a flat screen TV to the wall. Wait a minute, if it's mounted to the wall, doesn't that make it part of the real property? Under real estate law, absolutely. And now the mount for that TV became a fixture of the real property. Also a material breach of the lease. These are easy ones, you guys, that you can go stick your key in, turn the lock, see if it opens. Oh, you painted. Oh, you installed a Ring doorbell. Oh, you put up Blink cameras. Material breach, material breach, material breach, material breach, and now you're inundating them with a list of violations. She installed a Ring doorbell without your permission. That's a material breach of her lease and a cause for eviction. You can set up surveillance cameras. You're not violating their privacy. You didn't install them inside their unit. They're not in their bathroom. It shows the comings and goings at the property. Nothing more, nothing less. It will help you find unauthorized occupants. You can't do anything about an unauthorized occupant in Larceau until February of 2024, so stop trying. LA City says that they can have unauthorized occupants and they can have unauthorized pets until February of next year because of COVID. So if they're in Larceau, stop trying to figure this out. It's not time yet. The fat lady sings on February 1st. Property is in Larceau. There is a lead on my ads. She would like to request an application. confirm availability, looking for an apartment with her boyfriend. She has 3 kids that would come due to shared custody. How to turn them down because she sounds so fishy. Planning to move in 5/8. You can't turn them down until you run their credit. Otherwise, it's discrimination. You have to show everybody the property. You have to give everybody an application. If they don't meet your criteria, then you can deny them. But if you don't want to show them the property, you're discriminating. You have to show it to everybody. You're empowering mom and pop landlords. I'm trying. I'm one of you. You're not alone. On LA City non-RSO, a duplex built in 2003, new 6-year tenant. How much can I raise the rent since no increase and it's below market value, but he violates? Okay, whoa, Teresa, slow down. You cannot do a rent increase in LA City until next year. No joke. So don't even try it. I even say in LA County, don't try it. If you want to get them out, don't raise the rent, get them out. If you raise the rent and then try to get them out, it looks like you're retaliating. Stop doing it. Raising the rent to get them out doesn't work. It used to work years ago. It doesn't work now. So don't do it. If you want to raise the rent, raise the rent. If you want to get them out, get them out. Okay? But don't do both. It makes you look bad. He violates the rental agreement by parking his big new vehicle in my extra parking space I use. I have separate parking agreement and he's supposed to pay extra for parking, rent, and extra parking space only if I accept a new car. Plus he's running a mail order shoe stock business. Evict him for being in violation of his written contract for running a business out of a residential dwelling. Evict him for violating the rules. Evict him for not paying his parking payment. Got it? But don't try to raise the rent. If they're a nuisance, get them out on the nuisance. If they're not paying you, get them out because they're not paying you. If they're being a jerk, they're not paying you, don't raise the rent and then try to get them out. It makes you look really, really bad. That's how we beat up the tenant groups. You guys. Can you just not tell them they're denied? It's not against the law. Geraldo, are you trying to convince me that it's not against the law? Because it is. It is against the law. If you run someone's credit and you deny them by law, you have to send them an adverse action notice by law. David, I have a 4-unit complex in Beverly Hills City, which is in LA County. Do I have to worry about LAHD regulations? Beverly Hills has its own rent? No, you're governed by Beverly Hills because it's more restrictive than LAHD is. Don't be happy about that. Okay, Beverly Hills sucks. They all suck. So let me say this and then I'll go backwards and I got to start at Val. Okay. All the little cities are coming up with their own bureaucracy and bullshit. No joke. Claremont. They're all doing it. And do you know what they're using for an example? The city of LA's registry. They're using LA City's bullshit rent control rules to implement rules in their own cities. That's the template Beverly Hills used. That's the template Inglewood used. Only Inglewood implemented it in a way that it's more restrictive than the city of Los Angeles. Inglewood is worse than the city of LA. Do you know you can't even do a 30-day tenancy at will in the city of Inglewood? What? They don't recognize it. What? It's bullshit. So be cautious because your cities are crazy. I'm just telling you. Okay, starting at Val. So when it comes to restrictions, the restriction that restricts you the most is the one that controls you. So if you have a property in the city of Beverly Hills and the city of Beverly Hills has its own rent control ordinance that covers you, then you're governed by them. If the county's rules are more restrictive than the city of Beverly Hills, then the county controls you. For you, the city of Beverly Hills controls because it's more controlling than the county. Can she post a sign in her spot saying parking for owner only? Others will be towed? Yes, but I wouldn't put for owner only. I would put permit only. And then tow them away for not having a permit. Tenant vacated on March 28th due to mold. I served him a 60-day on May 1st. He has not paid rent for April and May, and he won't move out. If then, until July, do I owe him 2 months rent for relocation fees? It says the tenant vacated. You served him a 60-day. Well, this becomes a little tricky, Linda. Was there mold in the property?
Yes.
Give him his money back. Don't charge him. Let it go.
No. Oh, no, I haven't charged him, but he's not moving his stuff.
Then start the eviction.
Okay.
Get him out of there.
Okay.
The problem I
So
have-
3-day or I've already served him a 60-day.
Start the eviction based on the 60-day notice. What your thing says is tenant vacated on March 28th due to mold.
Right,
So moved out already.
right.
He didn't move out.
His stuff's there, but his body's not.
Where is he?
He says he's in a hotel.
Is he coming to get his stuff?
Yes, it's about an 800-foot storage unit for his stuff. 800 square foot plus garage. He's not moving anything.
But he's not there.
No.
I'd ask him if he's vacated the unit.
Okay, well, his stuff is still there.
I understand what you're saying to me, but if he puts in writing that he has vacated the unit, then he doesn't live there anymore. And now you can serve him with an 18-day notice to remove his personal belongings.
So treat it like abandoned property?
Bingo!
Okay, thank you.
Hit the easy button. But first you gotta have him say he vacated.
Okay,
That's what's gonna save you there. But yes, go on against abandoned personal property.
okay, super, thanks.
Anytime. Patty, for the surveillance camera, she will ask me the reason. What do I give her? I have a right to set up surveillance at this property. I'm the landlord. I mean, look at it this way. Think of it as a huge apartment community. Do you think that building management doesn't have cameras set up in their common areas? Oh, ding. I hope that made sense. I have a standard no parking with tow company info in the parking area. It's just a small property. That works. I know someone who owns apartments in Inglewood. I think she said she has to send a copy of her 24-hour notice to them as well, not only to the tenant. It's exactly correct, Tony. So what it is in Inglewood is they have their own rent registry. So you have to register your unit, sign up with them. They give you a certificate. If you serve any notice to your tenant, a 24-hour notice, a 30-day change of terms, anything you serve to your tenant, you also have to serve to the city of Inglewood within 3 days. If you don't, your notice is void. And you want to know something really funny, Tony? Pay attention. Paying attention? If you didn't serve your notice to the city, they don't tell you anything until you get into trial that your notice is invalid and your case is dismissed. So they wait for you to spend all that freaking money before they tell you. It's bullshit. Hold on, gets a little better. You ready? Every notice has to be served to the city. You know how we have all kinds of changes on 3-day notices, and I'll give you 2 examples that happened in the last 6 months, okay? It can no longer say within 3 days you must, it has to say within 3 court days, non-judicial holidays, non-weekends. Remember, we got new verbiage in those 3 days? Okay. Do you know why they want you to send a copy of the notice to the city? So they can already determine that you have a losing case because you have a technicality on your notice. But do you think the city's going to tell you that? No, they're going to use it against you when it's convenient for them. It's bullshit. Look at it this way. They already have a copy of the notice. So that's the notice you're using in eviction trial. If I worked at the city, I would sit there all day and just look at notice. This one's bad, this one's good, this one's bad, this one's good, this one's bad, this one's good. I'd be able to determine which cases were losers and which ones would probably win just by looking at the notice. When the city of Inglewood starts providing their own tenant advocate groups, I'll know exactly what they're doing. I don't mean to be an ass, but I can look at a 3-day notice and within seconds, I can tell you if it's valid or invalid. Because I used to do that in corporate America for all my property managers. As a regional, they had to serve their notice to me before it went to the tenant so I could review it. So I have a real keen way of looking at it very quickly and going, notice is invalid. The notice is invalid. The notice is invalid. It doesn't have a phone number. It doesn't have hours to pay. It's missing this, it's missing that. It's just something I thrive on. So I can pick apart a notice usually in less than 20 seconds. What's the city doing with them? Do they have somebody like me telling them this notice is bad, this notice is good, this notice is bad, this notice is good? Well, why do they need the notice? What are they doing with it? I hope that helps you understand exactly what's going on. I love you, Teresa. Scorecard. Never say for safety. That's right, Val, you tell them. It's not security cameras and you're not putting those up for safety, and that never came out of my mouth. I get that it's 2 separate buildings, but you could put a camera at the front of the building and a camera at the back of the building. You could put a camera aimed at the parking area and aimed at the common area for the front door for people coming in, okay? You could work it out. Patty, what is this guy, is what this guy saying is correct? I'd have to watch it. And I can't click on it right now, or it's gonna turn off my Zoom meeting and all these people will hate me. But let me see, I'm gonna try something, you guys. If I lose all of you, it's my fault. Okay, let me just pull this up. I'm pause it. Pause. How do I pause it? And then go back to you guys. I'm back to you, I got you back. Okay, so I went and opened that YouTube and I'll listen to it and I'll let you know later. When does the non-garnishment kick in, and is it statewide? Yes, it is, and it is statewide, and it kicks in on September 1st. You can always put them in collections. I wouldn't spend the money to go through small claims to get that judgment against them until we figure out what's going to happen with Gruesome Newsom's new shit show. Okay. If it is Agla's form for the 60-day notice is missing some stuff then. Huh? The 60-day notice should have relocation fees on it. All of them should. And I'll look at Agla's notice and tell them if they need to adjust theirs. I'll have a look at it today. I work a lot with them, so I'll help them if they have a problem. But 60-day notice should have a place for relocation fees right on the notice. It's actually a requirement. And then there's new things that we're seeing with notices. Like, here, let me throw this one at you. You guys know in the city of LA that you have to list how many bedrooms are in the unit on the 3-day notice. If you don't do that and send it into the city within 3 days of serving the notice is invalid. Change the rules, throw some tape at you, tie you up on a technicality, set you up for failure. Does this sound like it's familiar, folks? They're making it to the point where it's so impossible for you to get through the process without an attorney. Agla's 60-day notice to terminate was updated, revised on 9/16/20. It needs to be revised again. And I'll get on them. You got a call and you didn't hear me. Can you just not tell them they are denied? It's not against the law. If you run credit, okay, you are required to give anyone that you deny an adverse action letter. It is required by law. So whomever is running your credit for you needs to provide you with those adverse action notices as well. It is the law. You have to notify them that they've been denied, that they didn't meet your criteria, and how they can get a free copy of their credit report. If you don't do that, you could get sued. Then I can just tell them they are denied, but I don't need to give them a reason, do I? Yes, the reason is you didn't meet my criteria. It's that easy. I'm sorry, you didn't meet my criteria. But you'll get an adverse action notice in the mail. You're not giving them a reason. Pay attention. You didn't meet my criteria. You know, you have a list of everything they have to meet in order to rent from you. And when you run your credit, if they don't meet everything on that list, then you can legally deny them. So this is what I tell tenants, okay, that I'm denying. Ding. Hey, it's Patty over at blah, blah, blah management company. I'm just calling to let you know that unfortunately your application was denied. Before you start asking me questions, let me explain to you. We plug our criteria into the computer screening program, so it knows what our parameters are. We plug in your information, it runs a credit report, it does an assessment, and it either tells me approved or denied. It doesn't tell me why, but you're going to get a letter in the mail explaining to you why and how you can get a free copy of your credit report. Why was I denied, Patty? I don't know. It doesn't tell me why. It just says that it's denied. You'll get that letter in the mail in about 10 days explaining to you why you didn't meet our criteria and how you can get a copy of your credit report. That's my answer every time I deny someone, and they will continue to try to ask you a question and you continue to play stupid. Okay. I'm sorry, it doesn't tell me why. It just says approved or denied. So for some reason, you didn't meet all of our criteria. and you keep giving them that same freaking answer, no matter how many times they come at you with a different question, give them the same freaking answer every time. Okay. I'm sorry. My screen just says approved or denied. It doesn't tell me why. After you repeat yourself for the third time, they'll stop asking you the same question. Trust me. Oh, thank you. If you do not run their credit, you can tell them that you have other applicants. Yes. You can tell them that there's other people in line in front of them. Absolutely. We collect an application first before we charge them a dime. We can usually decide upon that. I do the same thing, Val. I take everything at once. I want your application, I want your money, and I want all your paperwork because I don't accept incomplete applications. Once I have the application, what I do is see if they're income qualified. Do you make enough money? There's a few things you can check. Do I have applications for everybody that's going to be living there? Minor children not included. And do they make the money? There's a few things I can determine. If I get that far and I'm actually ready to run the credit, then I'll run the credit. If something isn't right there, I'll tell them their application is incomplete and I'm returning it in its entirety because we don't accept incomplete applications. It's the easiest way to handle the BS. I mean, come on, corporate America. How many times have we spent chasing ghosts, meaning applicants that aren't calling us back? They gave us our money, but we still need this. We can't run their credit because we don't have that. We have this, we don't. I don't have time for that. Don't accept incomplete applications and you will stop chasing your tail. Got it? It's very simple. I had a gentleman come in and apply with me one day. He said, hi, I want to apply for this property. And I knew he was up to no good from the second he walked in my door. I had him pegged. So I said, sure, I'll be more than happy to help you. Oh, it says that Lisa Smith will be living with you. Where's her application? Oh, well, she's my girlfriend. She won't be moving in for 2 months. Well, here's your incomplete application back. We don't accept incomplete applications. I need an application from each adult that'll be living in the property. Well, you can't deny me. I didn't deny you. I didn't accept your application. It's incomplete. I need the application for your girlfriend that'll be living with you. Then I will accept it as a completed application. Well, she's not here yet. I'm sorry, we don't accept incomplete applications at our management company. It's our corporate policy. He was pissed. He turned me into the Better Business Bureau. I won. I don't accept incomplete applications. And you guys all know what he was going to do. He was going to rent that house. Some other chick was going to come live there with God knows who. And he was going to be the front man for this property. And she was going to be in there, whoever she was. I don't play games. Sorry, your application's incomplete. It's how you dodge bullets, okay? Your application's incomplete. We don't accept incomplete applications here. You can take this all back and reapply when you're have everything together. But if you do not run their credit, you can tell them that you have other applicants. Yeah, I did this one. Gotcha, Val. Can we do a pre-screening call? Can we do pre-screening on call before giving them a tour? Yeah, you can, but you got to be really cautious, really cautious. If somebody shows up in my office and says, I want to go look at this unit, I take them over there. I don't refuse to show a vacant property to someone asking to see it. I will tell them that we have specific criteria that they need to meet in order to be approved. To qualify to live here, you have to meet our criteria. But if they want to see the unit, go show them. Because if you don't go show them, it could be really difficult for you. Okay. They could scream discrimination and all kinds of shit. Please make a Patty doll that every time you pull the string, it says that. It says what? I'm sorry, we don't accept incomplete applications. Somebody told me that I sound like the Disneyland ride. Keep your arms and hands in the vehicle until the ride comes to a complete stop. I'm going to say that to the next person I take a call to today that I'm doing an eviction for. Please keep your hands and arms in the vehicle until the ride comes to a complete stop. Sorry. Little property management humor there. Me and Val are on the floor laughing. Everybody else is like, what are you guys talking about? Okay, hold on. Let me go backwards. Patty, sometimes an applicant says, I get paid in cash and I cannot document my income in my bank statements, but I can get a letter from my employer verifying my income. Patty, what would you tell this applicant? You ready, David? Because I got it. I got the verbiage for you guys all day long. Well, unfortunately, because you don't report those funds to the IRS, I can't count it as income. Verifiable income means I can verify it, and any employer can write you a letter. That's not satisfactory. I need to see that you actually pay taxes on the money that you encounter, like I do, like you do, David, like you do, Val. They don't get to accept cash for free for hooking or whatever they're doing and not pay taxes on it and then use that to rent my house. Not a chance. Verifiable income means they pay taxes on it. It hits their bank account and the IRS knows. Does that help you? Patty, it is also important to meet all the adult applicants as well. Sometimes people say their roommate can't come out to see the apartment because they're just busy working. Yes. And one of my criteria is all applicants must see the property before applying. So I'm sorry that your roommate's not going to be able to see the unit. Until they can view the unit, I can't accept the application. It's incomplete. You know what? And if they really want to rent from you, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. Got it? If they're jerking your chain, they're going to jerk your chain. Sorry, you guys. I'm sick. I don't feel good. I feel like poop. The doll should have several messages. I'm sorry. You're welcome to turn in your keys. I'm sorry you're so unhappy living here. Did you just want to give me a 30-day notice today? Okay, so Geraldo and Val have now went into the toy making business. And they're making little Patty dolls. Val, before everybody gets off of here, can you stay on for a little while longer? After everybody gets off, I just want to ask you something. Great, perfect. Thank you, you guys. I do feel like crap. No joke. I took off my sweater. I didn't know if it was a fever or a hot flash. I am feeling better today. Today is the first day that I woke up and I was like, ooh, I'm hungry. I can eat. I need food. Thank you. And we all get sick. I mean, it happens, you know, I'm trying to do my best. Somebody called me yesterday. They asked me a tricky question. I'm like, no, my brain still works. It's okay. It has a little bit of a delay before it comes out. It's a little slower than usual. Usually comes out quite a bit faster than that. Usually somebody pointed something out to me. I said, Patty, I noticed that when you're sitting in a webinar and somebody's asking you questions, you're very focused. And then as soon as you know the solution to their problem, your head clicks and you smile. And it's like, boom, I solved the equation, but you're still listening to the problem, but you're sitting there smiling with your head cocked sideways because you already know the answer. And it's this weird thing you do. And I had to, do I do that, you guys? Do I go, when I figured out the answer? I mean, like somebody can be talking to you and we know the second you figure it out because you go, doink. Oh. And I could see that because I did that in a meeting once with attorneys that were yelling at me. And they mentioned something and I put two pieces of something together and realized, oh, that's how they do that. So I kind of cocked my head sideways and smiled because I just learned something. And they took offense to that. Oh, you think it's funny? No, you just taught me something you don't even realize you did. But yeah, okay. No, I'm not trying to be offensive. I just smiled and cocked my head. Yeah, I know the answer. We need little bobbleheads. Oh, I bobbled the wrong way. We're not renting to you. Get out. All right, you guys. Does anybody have anything else? I got to get back to work. Thank you guys. Are you kidding? I couldn't do this without you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to feel better. All right, you guys have a great day. Enjoy yourself. If you need me, you know how to find me. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a great Mother's Day.